Yeah, so now this Cameo thing, according to George, is really paying off. He claims he's made more money in 7 days than he did in Congress for a year. And part of that money came from me. I sent him a bunch of crazy video requests because I wanted to see what he would read and what he wouldn't read. And I showed some of them on the air on Thursday. And now he's demanding $20,000 from me to be paid a commercial rate. Can you imagine if I get sued by George Santos for fraud? I mean, how good would that be? It would be like a dream come true.
Ain't nothing changed, nothing new here to see. This ain't nothing but some political maneuvering. America. Welcome to the eulogy, eat it up. It's called political buffoonery.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to This Week in DUMBmocracy, where we showcase some of the dumbest newsmakers of the week. Jimmy Kimmel's wish has come true. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a battle of the buffoons lined up for you today. Fight, fight, fight! George Santos is suing Jimmy Kimmel, and the reason why is going to be pretty hilarious. We're going to get into all of the details and do a little legal analysis as well, but before we do all that, please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other shows. And if you like what you see and hear in this or any other video, smash that thumbs up button, like, comment, share the show with your friends, all that good stuff, because all that feeds the YouTube algorithm.
Feed me Seymour.
Thanks to everybody out there for getting the word out about the show. You're going to want to do that with this one because we're going to be talking about some pretty hilarious stuff with George Santos's new lawsuit against Jimmy Kimmel for copyright infringement, for fraud, and a host of other torts that we're going to be talking about right now. So starting out with the lawsuit that George Santos filed in federal court, in fact, the same federal court where he is facing criminal charges, alleging that Jimmy Kimmel defrauded him through Cameo. Let's get into some of the allegations now and you'll see what we're talking about. So George Santos is alleging that at the heart of this dispute is the deliberate deception and wrongful appropriation of plaintiffs' digital content by the defendants, orchestrated through the platform Cameo.com, where celebrities and public figures are meant to connect with their fans through personalized video messages. Defendants, especially Kimmel here, openly admitted to deceiving plaintiff under the guise of fandom, soliciting personalized videos only to then broadcast these on national television and across social media channels for commercial gain. He's alleging that Kimmel is profiting off the videos because they were used on his show and they were used on social media, and that these actions starkly violate the original agreement and constitute clear copyright infringement. Instead of telling you more about this, let me show you what Santos is claiming is Kimmel's alleged infringement upon these digital works. Now, before I play these segments, I'm going to give one of my patented legal disclaimers to cover my own ass. The videos you're about to see are parts of Jimmy Kimmel's show from a couple of months ago discussing George Santos's Cameo appearances that he solicited through Cameo.com. We are not going to play the actual Cameo videos because Santos is alleging that this is copyrighted material that is infringing upon his rights. He didn't distribute these videos for broadcast. So we're going to respect that and not broadcast those videos. What we will do is broadcast those portions of Jimmy Kimmel's shows where he discusses George Santos and Cameo.
Everybody got that?
With that said, let's get to it.
And then we have disgraced former Congressman George Santos, who has a new gig, making videos on Cameo for $400 a pop, which is a dilemma because on one hand, you hate to give money to a guy like George Santos, but on the other, pretty good chance he has your credit card information already. Whatever the case, I couldn't resist. So I sent George through Cameo a number of different ridiculous requests. Like you could tell him what you want him to say. I'll be parceling these out over the next week. I didn't say they're from me. I just wrote them and sent them to find out, will Santos say it? Okay, so
obviously Santos is fair game here, being a public figure, being a former congressman, a disgraced congressman who's facing criminal charges. So while some may see this as distasteful when it comes to George Santos, Jimmy Kimmel is not above doing crap like this, right? The question becomes whether or not the Cameo videos themselves should have been broadcast. But just to show that he did broadcast it, we're going to show you the lead-in and the lead-out from each video to show you Kimmel doing the deed.
Are you ready to play? All right, so this is the request. The request was, George, please congratulate my friend Gary Fortuna for winning the Clearwater, Florida beef eating contest. He ate almost 6 pounds of loose ground beef in under 30 minutes, which was a new record. Not feeling great right now. Doctor thinks he'll be released from the hospital soon. Please wish him a speedy recovery. All right. Will Santos say it?
Copyrighted material! Don't look at it!
So you get the prank here, right? It's Kimmel being a real a-hole, creating phony accounts on Cameo, then requesting videos from Santos, paying him for those videos, and then broadcasting those videos on his show. The question is going to become whether or not Kimmel had the right to broadcast these things. And I just want to show you a few more examples of what he's doing. So you see, it's not just one, it's several instances of Kimmel doing this.
Pretty good. 5 stars. You want to try another one? George, please congratulate my mom, Brenda, on the successful cloning of her beloved Schnauzer, Adolf. She and Dr. Houndschnaufer went through a lot of dogs in the trial runs, but they finally got it to stick. Tell her to give Adolf a big belly rub for me. Will Santos say it?
That's copyright infringement.
Okay, clearly Santos is a buffoon for falling for some BS like that in a Cameo. It also shows how craven he is for the money to earn a living off of these videos. And yes, it's funny to do, but is it legal? Let's get into it a little further with another episode of Kimmel's show where he further updates the crowd on Santos's objection to using these videos.
And then we have George Santos, who is, thank you, not as slick as Donald Trump. Every time Trump gets indicted, he rakes in the cash. But George Santos not doing too badly himself.
We're back with former Congressman George Santos, who within 4 seconds of leaving office has found a new career on Cameo. What is that about?
Look, you know, it's funny. The idea came from a former Kevin McCarthy staffer. He reached out and says, George, you have such a large personality. The people love you. You should just open a Cameo. I'm like, what's a Cameo? So I looked into it. I'm like, oh, that's what that's called. The videos where people send you birthday wishes. I opened it.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't begrudge George Santos a living. I didn't want him to be a member of Congress. I think he's too sleazy, too shady, too much of an alleged criminal to be in Congress at this point. But I'm not going to begrudge him a living. It's clear that he has a very big personality. He wants to be seen and wants to be known, and he wants to be a star. So if this is how he's going to do it, I'm not going to begrudge him that work just because he's a political buffoon. If he's staying out of politics and making money this way, more power to him. I really don't care. But Kimmel clearly does care, and Santos really cares that Kimmel got a hold of some of these Cameo videos.
So now this Cameo thing, according to George, is really paying off. He claims he's made more money in 7 days than he did in Congress for a year. And part of that money came from me. I sent him a bunch of crazy video requests because I wanted to see what he would read and what he wouldn't read. And I showed some of them on the air on Thursday. And now he's demanding $20,000 from me to be paid a commercial rate. Could you imagine if I get sued by George Santos for fraud? I mean, how good would that be? It would be like a dream come true.
Wishes granted. Long live John.
Well, look at that, Jimmy. Dreams really do come true because you're getting sued right now. And you know what? In analyzing this lawsuit, you might be in a bit of trouble. You, ABC, and Disney might have to pay George Santos some money. I'm going to explain why, if certain facts fall into place and the evidence is there, that Jimmy Kimmel, ABC, Disney, all of them are in deep doo-doo, and it all stems from these videos that you're watching right now. Like what you see so far? Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Also, leave us a comment and tell us what you're thinking. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another show. So what you're looking at right now are Cameo's terms of services, the rights and privileges that users have in accessing their website. This is going to be very important. I want you guys to listen to this part really carefully and apply it to what you just heard about Jimmy Kimmel and what he said in his own show in those segments talking about George Santos's Cameo videos. First, let's start with the Cameo Marketplace section. By creating an account on our site, you agree to provide true, accurate, current, and complete information. The next sentence is very important for the facts of this particular case. You agree not to create a site account using a false identity or providing false information, or if you have previously been removed or banned from our site. Remember Jimmy Kimmel saying that he created a bunch of fake accounts in order to get George Santos to create these personal Cameo videos for those phony people?
I didn't say they were from me. I just wrote them and sent them.
Clearly what he did is a violation of the terms of use of Cameo. That should be pretty significant. It's already on video. There's no discovery needed on this point. It seems like Jimmy Kimmel has told the world that he violated Cameo's terms of services. Let's move on to discussing the video itself. Here's the video section. Through our site, you may obtain personalized videos from celebrities and influencers and such, talent essentially, and you may submit a request to a talent user for a Cameo video that is personalized for you or a third party that you identify. The next part, section B, again, very important. You acknowledge, meaning the user, meaning Jimmy Kimmel, you acknowledge and agree that the talent user has sole discretion to determine how to fulfill your request and the content of the Cameo video created and may not follow your request exactly. So the user gets to request something. George Santos, as the talent, gets to fulfill it. So that's all well and good, but then you get to section E here, and it says, you, meaning the user, meaning Jimmy Kimmel, may not sell, resell, commercialize, or encumber your rights in any Cameo offering, including creating a non-fungible token for any Cameo offering except as agreed by Cameo in advance in writing. And you also see above that in section D, subject to your payment in full, which presumably Jimmy Kimmel did, the talent user hereby grants you limited rights to use the Cameo video solely for, and this is in bold by the way, solely for your own personal, non-commercial, and non-promotional purposes, subject to these terms: a non-exclusive, royalty-free, fully paid, worldwide, sub-licensable, revocable license to use, produce, distribute, or publicly display that Cameo video in any and all media, for example, on social media platforms, whether now known or hereinafter invented or devised. So Jimmy Kimmel doesn't own the content of these George Santos videos. He only has a license to them for his personal, non-commercial purposes. Clearly, such a video, if purchased as a personalized Cameo, cannot be used on his show because, as we all know, this is how Jimmy Kimmel makes money. This is how ABC makes money, through ad revenues. And by extension, this is how Disney makes money. Everyone is making money off of Jimmy Kimmel's show, and Jimmy Kimmel's show is posting these personal videos on his show, these personal cameos on his show.
You're in deep doo-doo.
Now remember, according to Kimmel's own show, Santos sent a cease and desist letter demanding a commercial fee for the videos he was using on his show. I think it was something like $20,000.
And now he's demanding $20,000 from me to be paid a commercial rate.
And you saw Jimmy Kimmel just laugh it off, saying that he would love it if Santos sued him.
Can you imagine if I get sued by George Santos for fraud? I mean, how good would that be? It would be like a dream come true.
Well, yuck it up, buddy, because it looks like Santos might have you by the short and curlies. So when we look back to the allegations in the Santos lawsuit, you'll see that clearly his lawyers read the terms of service from Cameo and included them in the allegations of facts in the lawsuit. And again, I'm just going to throw out my disclaimer one more time. The lawsuit is a set of allegations. It's created by George Santos' attorney to allege certain elements of certain torts, wrongdoing, that was perpetrated by the defendants against Santos. This is not a finding of fact. This is simply allegations that Kimmel and all the other defendants have the right to answer in open court. They have yet to do so, so we'll be monitoring the situation for that as well.
Everybody got that?
So as we peruse the complaint, we see that defendant's conduct constituted fraud. Defendant Kimmel misrepresented himself and his motives to induce plaintiff to create personalized videos for the sole purpose of capitalizing on and ridiculing plaintiff's gregarious personality. Kimmel not only boasted about intentionally deceiving plaintiff, which we saw in those videos, by the way, but played on the comedic irony of possibly getting sued by plaintiff for fraud, claiming that it would be a dream come true. You also saw that. Kimmel's invitation of the instant lawsuit highlights the defendant's brazen disregard for the fact that their prank violated the law.
Everything you asked for, you've got it.
Santos recently created a profile on Cameo, a website that allows fans to request personalized video messages from public figures and celebrities. And you see, he's using the same terms that are used in the terms of services, users and talent. By creating profiles on Cameo, talent and users agreed to be bound by Cameo's terms of services, what we just saw earlier. Under Cameo's terms of services, users may request personalized videos from talent and obtain a license to use those videos. Users send talent a description of what the user would like the talent to say in the personalized video, and talent may accept or reject the user's requests. We've seen that in the terms of services. Let's get to the part where the defendants here actually did something. Through Cameo, Santos receives requests from individuals and businesses seeking personalized video messages. Unbeknownst to Santos, Kimmel submitted at least 14 requests for Cameo videos from Santos by providing phony names and narratives, fake requests. We talked about that in the terms of services as well, how Kimmel broke that by providing false and incomplete information to create these fake requests. The fake requests were sent from fake user profiles created by Kimmel as part of the fraud. And by the way, Kimmel admitted that on his show twice that we saw. By creating the fake user profiles and submitting the fake requests, Kimmel falsely represented himself as multiple different users seeking Santos's personalized Cameo videos for personal use. That's pretty important as well. He's alleging that these were not commercial requests, which, by the way, you can do on Cameo. These were personal requests and therefore subject to that personal, non-commercial license language in the terms of services. Relying on Kimmel's fake requests, Santos created approximately 14 personalized Cameo videos. All of the personalized Cameo videos created by Santos were subject to the personal use license restrictions and were provided to the defendants subject to the personal use license restrictions. Those are the terms that we saw earlier. So it appears that Santos's attorneys are dotting their I's and crossing their T's with these allegations. The next one is very important. Kimmel chose the personal use licenses for all the Cameo videos with the intention to violate such licenses by broadcasting and commercially exploiting the Cameo videos on national television. But not only on national television, but also on social media platforms from ABC and Disney, which would include YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and X, formerly known as Twitter. So what are the wrongdoings that Santos is claiming here? Let's skip to the bottom to see exactly what the nature of the allegations are. Count 1, copyright infringement. Plaintiff is the author and sole owner of the original copyrighted 5 Cameo videos that the defendants unlawfully infringed. So there were 5 videos that were broadcast on 2 different episodes of Jimmy Kimmel's show, which is what we were referencing earlier. We didn't show all of them, obviously, but there were 5 different ones, and they still exist online, by the way. The works are unique, original, audiovisual creations fixed in the medium of a motion picture that feature Santos speaking directly to the camera. The works were created by Santos using his own effort, creativity, and unique personality traits. Boy, howdy does he have those, to generate an inspiring message, or a comical message, depending upon how you take it, or whatever it is. The works are wholly original, that are copyrightable subject matter under the laws of the United States, and that Santos registered those works with the Register of Copyrights pursuant to federal law, as he alleges here. Therefore, he's saying, I own these works. I only gave you a personal license to use them, and you violated that by broadcasting them on your show where you make money. I should be entitled to that money. And certainly Santos has a case here in saying that under the copyright laws of the United States. Defendants Act violate plaintiff's exclusive rights under the Copyright Act. At no time did plaintiff authorize the defendants to reproduce, distribute, prepare derivative works, or publicly display the works or any portion thereof. So that's the first cause of action. It has to do with copyright law. And there's a lot of allegations here that they invoke the statutes and all that. The second cause of action is for fraudulent inducement. Now remember, Santos alleged that Kimmel created fake profiles and falsely represented himself as fans seeking personalized videos for personal use, and did so while knowingly making false representations of material fact to plaintiff. Kimmel admits that on the show as well. We've talked about that before. And if you see here in the section of the lawsuit, he actually alleges what was said in those different requests, the fake requests that were talked about. He has them right here, the fake names, the fake message requests, and the whole thing for the 5 videos that were broadcast. Defendants, Kimmel, ABC, Disney, made such false representations to induce plaintiff to provide personalized video content under the limited personal use license, but then violated those terms that plaintiff reasonably relied on defendants would uphold their representations that they were personal videos, and provided the requested videos under those terms and restrictions, but the videos were produced on air, they were shown on air, thus causing Santos damages. The damages being the violation of the personal use license and the infringement of his original work. Finally, there are 2 other causes of action. One is breach of contract, the contract being that in exchange for money, Santos would provide the video to the person requesting it. But in this case, it wasn't the person requesting it, it was Jimmy Kimmel. So there was a valid contract between the parties that was then violated. That includes the terms of use that Cameo has up, and we talked about how that was violated as well. And alternatively, if there wasn't a contract, Jimmy Kimmel, ABC, and Disney were all unjustly enriched by the product of Santos's video by broadcasting that, and Santos is entitled to return of any profits that Jimmy Kimmel and the other defendants made in the course of broadcasting these videos in violation of the terms of the license that is on Cameo's website. Now, I know that was a lot of legalese and gobbledygook, so let me bottom line it here for you. George Santos, buffoon though he may be, and he is a big political buffoon, he has a real case against Kimmel, ABC, and Disney. He relied upon the false representations that Kimmel made to him in creating these fake profiles, which is a violation of the terms of services of Cameo, and in reliance upon those false representations, fulfilled his end of the contract that was created in creating that original content, those videos, in response to those fake requests. Kimmel then took those videos and violated the terms of the license that was granted to him for personal use only, for non-commercial uses, and broadcast those videos on his show as a way to prank and lampoon and lambaste Santos. In doing so, it looks like that he violated Santos's rights to his own original content. Santos sent a C&D letter. It's clear from both the litigation and from Kimmel's own representations on air, and they didn't heed those warnings. It looks like they only broadcast those videos for those 2 shows, but they're still up on social media because that's how I found them. That's how I found this content. I didn't broadcast the content, obviously, because I don't want to violate Santos's rights to his original works. I'm not going to do that. I'm much smarter than Jimmy Kimmel.
Pretty low bar for greatness, but all right.
So where we end up here, folks, is George Santos is a buffoon. Jimmy Kimmel's a bigger buffoon, if you can believe it. And once Santos has his day in court with discovery and all of that, we'll see whether or not he can make good on his allegations, or if there may be some special exceptions that Kimmel, ABC, and Disney can come up with here. But I'm thinking, at least at this first point, Santos has really stated a quality set of causes of action here. I'm ready for the clash of buffoons here. It's going to be fun to watch. Who knows? Maybe there'll be a quick and dirty settlement here, or we'll get some discovery out of this. And I'm sure if we get discovery, Santos will be crowing about it everywhere, because that's just how he is. Let me know what you guys think about this battle of buffoonery between Santos and Kimmel. Whose side are you on here? I seem to be on the side of George Santos only for the fact that he's entitled to make a living off these cameos and retain whatever rights he has to his own original works. And while I think he was the worst of the worst in Congress, he's entitled to make a living off of these cameos and other non-governmental things. So let him do it to his heart's content and let him pursue his rights under the terms of use of those videos through Cameo and against all these buffoons in media like Jimmy Kimmel. I'm all for it, but I want to know what you guys think about all this. So please, leave a comment, like and share the video with your friends so we can discuss all the buffoonery of it all. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Let's get in the comments and talk about all the shenanigans and buffoonery happening every day this week in DUMBmocracy.
All views and opinions expressed here are not necessarily of the mainstream media and may offend some listeners. It's called political buffoonery.